What is going down, Niner Empire? Welcome back to another post-game video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the game we just finished watching between the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. The 49ers fell to the Baltimore Ravens 17-20. Justin Tucker ended up kicking the walk-off in Baltimore, and we lost this game. And you cannot be mad about this loss. This was a good game throughout. This was a game where it came down to really what team wanted it more and who could keep the ball longer. To keep the other offense off the field. Raheem Mostert had a career day. He had a hell of a game, got in the end zone. Garoppolo didn't do bad. What really screwed us was the turnover he had during the game when he got sacked. And then Robbie Gould missed a field goal from 51 yards out, which, in a way, you can't necessarily blame Robbie Gould for that. Robbie Gould's been put in a lot of positions this season where he's not been successful. Like, for instance, last week when, not last week, a couple weeks ago when he was in and Kyle Nelson, the long snapper, was suspended. He didn't do as good because, the long snapper, the timing was off and things upon that nature. And then today, he was kicking a 51-yard field goal from, in terrible weather conditions. So really, you can't necessarily blame that on him. But he hasn't been really well for us this season whatsoever. But either way, there were Defense played well. We tried as much as we could to stop Lamar Jackson, and I think we did a pretty decent job doing it. I think that we didn't neutralize him whatsoever, but we kind of slowed that offense down on some drives, which was good and which we benefited from. But it really could have helped if Robbie Gould would have made that field goal. It really could have helped if we would have executed more on drives where we, made Baltimore go 3 and out and, caused them to punt. And I feel like if we could have executed on drives like that, we could have won this game. And obviously it was bad weather conditions, so, not both teams weren't really playing at their best. But I felt like we did pretty well for how bad the weather conditions were, and I felt Baltimore did the same. At the end of the day, win or lose, the way we got to look at it is we're only 10-2, and we still have there's still multiple games, there's still more important games we have to win. Next week's a really important game, and to be completely honest, if I had to choose losing against New Orleans or Baltimore, I would choose losing against Baltimore for the fact that they're not even in the NFC, and it's not even going to affect the playoff picture for the NFC if we lose to them. But losing to the Saints would probably take a bigger hit at what seed we'd probably be in the playoffs. But, like I said, I'd rather lose to Baltimore now than lose next week against New Orleans. So that's all I'm going to say. But this was a great game. This could be a potential Super Bowl matchup. But hey, at the end of the day, we lost the game. Baltimore was the better team today. I'm not going to blame this game on the refs, but there was a lot of holding calls specifically on Baltimore where that weren't called, and it made me so mad. But that's not the reasons we lost. The refs could have been better, though, on some calls that were just blown. But at the end of the day, I felt Jimmy played well. I felt like he didn't really have... he played to the best of his ability in the weather conditions that were, present during the time. But at the end of the day, we lost this one. We're on to New Orleans next week. That's going to be a really big game for us. I'd rather lose to Baltimore than lose to New Orleans next week. So, with that being said, though, Like I said, Raheem Mostert, hell of a game. Jimmy Garoppolo played really well. Kendrick Bourne stepped up pretty big when we needed him to. Deebo Samuel had a touchdown. Um, yeah, I mean, I felt like our secondary played pretty well. We weren't really getting pressure on Lamar Jackson too much. I mean, you really can't put pressure on him without him scrambling and making a play. That's just who he is as a quarterback. But I felt like we did as much as we could, and I felt like we did enough to win this football game. We were just put in a situation where we didn't execute. So a loss is a loss. On to New Orleans. You really can't be mad about this loss. I'm kind of upset because we should have won this game. We had opportunities to win this game. We just didn't execute on drives where we should have. But I mean, that's why there's more games ahead. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know who you guys think is going to win next week between the Saints and the 49ers. It's in New Orleans, and I believe that's a 4 o'clock game on Fox. Yeah. So with that being said, as always, go Niners. I'll be back with a few more videos this week. And yeah, I'll probably be back with a video tomorrow, because if Seattle wins tomorrow against the Minnesota Vikings, the 49ers drop to 5th seed in the playoffs. So that's how good and that's how talented the NFC is. But that doesn't mean that we're going to stay at the 5th seed. That's just what we would be in that period of time. So that being said, as always, go Niners, and on to the Saints. Put this loss behind us.